The football team that you follow is 6-2. The football team that you follow is in first place. The football team that you follow is legitimately across the board in every equitable category top 5 in the NFL. So if you have any complaints this morning, feel free to file them right over there in my I couldn't care less box. Good morning to you. Good Tuesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot of Steelers. It comes your way bright and early every weekday if you're into hockey and or baseball. I also offer daily shots of Penguins and Pirates. Steelers 26, Giants 18 last night at Acrisure Stadium. It was not the complete and thorough everything that I'd expressed to you yesterday that I would have liked to have seen. The offense showed its flaws. The defense showed its flaws. The special teams have no flaws, as I also brought up. And of course they didn't again. And it all doesn't matter because at the end of the day, Beanie Bishop picks off Daniel Jones's pass. The Giants weren't going to score a touchdown there. The Giants weren't going to get the 2-point conversion to tie. And anyone can fuss about the Giants' record or playing down to opponents or Mike Tomlin challenging something that couldn't be challenged or whatever else. You know what? You can do what you want with it. But that box that I mentioned, I'm not even going to go look inside it for another few days, all right? That's not how I go. Maybe it's how others go. It's not how I go. 6-2 means 6-2, and I'm going to focus and hard on the positives. And on this occasion, as much as I loved Russell Wilson's touch passing, as much as I loved the hard running that was gotten from both Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren, as much as I loved seeing Alex Highsmith step back up, as much as I don't even have words anymore for TJ Watt. I don't have words. I couldn't have committed this episode to him if I wanted to, because it would have just been silence for 8 minutes, then a few commercials, and then like a J1Q. The first 8 minutes would have probably lost a lot of people. But there was nothing out of this entire scene that I could have loved more than seeing Calvin Austin get his due. I've made no secret of my respect for that young man in the couple years and change that he's been in Pittsburgh, and that begins with the way he carried himself through the year he had to miss to injury, with the way he took himself from room to room, from video session to video session, studying, in the way he would explain it to me at the time, studying everything that he could so that when he would be healthy enough to play, that Tomlin and his teammates wouldn't treat him like a rookie. They would treat him like the year 2 NFL player that he expected to be. In parentheses here, he passed all of that on to Corey Trice when Trice had to miss his entire rookie year, and Trice benefited immensely. We can talk about that some other day, end parentheses. But it took until last night for Cal to really break out, to put that world-class speed, that electric athleticism to use to the extent that he'd come up with 2 touchdowns. One on a long punt return, another on a long touchdown catch. On the punt return, he had a block set for him by his very good friend, Rodney Williams. A simple play that was just designed to show Cal the edge. Get him over there was the way Rodney explained it to me. That's all we need to do is get him over there and let him do his thing. And that's what Cal did. He did his thing after that. There was a mass of people at one point. I wasn't sure he was going to get out of that from my vantage point in the press box. But then once he saw grass, that was the end of it. And what a moment, too. The offense has to settle for field goals after what felt like about 100 trips inside the New York 10. And Cal's the one that not only pushes them through, but then catches the... Oh, what a pass by Russ. Listen, to those of you who still suggest that I had something in for Russ because I wanted to see Justin Fields get a chance to be a franchise quarterback and whatever else. And I kept telling you, even at the time, it doesn't matter to me, 2024. I do want to see the Steelers have themselves a franchise quarterback in 2025 and beyond. But if Russ were to come along and get healthy and do the kind of things he's done the past couple of weeks, I mean, what weirdo would be against that, right? What weirdo would be going, boy, I really hope Russ doesn't succeed. Russ is playing really, really good football. And Russ, in that situation on the touchdown pass, on a scheme that's set up by Arthur Smith, calls Pat Freiermuth back to the line of scrimmage to make sure that he's fully protected because of something that they all saw, including Pat. Pat told me that the Giants were doing. And there goes Cal. And there goes that perfect arc. There couldn't have been a soul out of the 66,000 filling those yellow seats who didn't realize the moment the ball left Russ's hand that it was going to end up in Cal's hands. That's how pretty that pass was. I don't mean to be taking credit away from Cal and what's supposed to be Cal's show, but you get the idea. And still in all, a punt return like that, the Steelers' first punt return for a touchdown since 2019 when Deontay Johnson had one against the Cardinals, was just, it's something that people won't soon forget. This is what Cal had to say about how it came together.
You know, we had a left return call all week. I mean, all year we've been talking just about, just finishing and everything. And, my guys, they set it up very well. My boy Rod had the block that got me around the edge. And once it was there, in the open field, everything is just, football at that point. And so it was just really, good to get in the box for my guys and Coach Danny.
Reporters aren't fans. We're paid to cover these teams. But I've often allowed myself to find an individual that I just like so much that I want to see them do well. I want to see them be happy. And to see this kid of all kids, after the way his NFL career started, after the way he had to fight through that year, a year that, by the way, when you miss your first year as an NFL player right out of the draft, that'll end careers prematurely. It will. To see him be that guy, this was a very, very good day for football in Pittsburgh. This segment of Daily Shot is brought to you by our good friends at Mike's Beer Bar. They're located on Federal Street, directly across from PNC Park. Mike has more than 500 beers on tap, including from more than 50 local breweries. Stop in and say hello. Tell Mike we sent you. Mike's Beer Bar. Today's J1Q comes from Dylan Goodson, who says, DK, do the Steelers really need a WR2? Or does everybody just need to be patient and see what the Steelers can get done with their current guys now that Russell Wilson's under center? Dylan, the spirit of the question is wholly respectable, and I mean that. There couldn't have been anybody who wasn't thinking that in that stadium or watching from home or wherever last night. When you see Russ finding Calvin Austin the way he did, Russ finding Van Jefferson the way he did, Russ finding George Pickens, who lost not one but 2 touchdowns on this night, it's hard to not believe that Russ has made a difference. I had separate conversations last night with Russ as well as Justin Fields. Those weren't on the record, so I'm not going to share anything other than the gist of what I was saying, and that was that they both have brought something over these 8 games to this offense. They have both brought something to this team, to this locker room. And, when Fields is healthy again, and for anybody who happened to miss it yesterday, he was made inactive because of his hamstring injury and declared the emergency quarterback. But when Justin's healthy, he's going to make his own difference again in some form. I have no doubt, and I'm talking zero, that Mike Tomlin and Arthur Smith are going to find a way to integrate him into this offense. And maybe, just maybe, it'll be in a way where they can get those final 10, 8, 6 yards that they were missing last night to turn this game into a blowout. But then that's not what you asked. You asked about WR2. And I just took that last clause of your question about things changing since Russ came aboard. Kind of did my own thing. WR2 is a need. It remains a need. It would be a need even if Cal were to continue doing things like he did last night. And I don't mean long punt returns. Those are really rare. Or even the long catch. I'm just talking about being reliable targets for Russ as Russ is reading the entire field, which I'm pretty sure is what you were getting at with your question. I'll reiterate that the number one reason that the Steelers have needed and will continue to need a WR2 type is in case George gets hurt. And, you know, I know nobody likes to think about these things and you want to turn around and find some wood to knock on or yell at me for even bringing it up. But that's not how teams get built. Teams get built by ensuring that you have sufficient depth. And remember that a big part of the reason that Cal and Van were both able to get their catches last night is that the Giants did pay extra attention to George. If there's no George, and pardon the pun here, but the other two guys become easy pickings. Oh no, I just did that. Oh no, and you didn't cancel listening to this show for the rest of your life after that. You saw it coming too. You are so culpable in this. We're going to have another one of these things tomorrow if you dare to return.